Wouldn't it be great if America was more like Europe? You might not think so, but someone in Washington apparently does, because a lot of the legislation going through Congress, if passed, could make America look a lot more like a European nation. Government-run health care, cap-and-trade energy rationing, and a massive overall explosion of government, which means massive government spending, massive government debt, and massive government intrusion into your life. It sounds to some people like Britain. One British author says he's seen America's future. It's here in Britain. And he says our future doesn't work. James Delingpole has written, "Welcome to Obamaland."
I've seen America's future because what is happening in America now has been happening in Britain for at least the last 12 years. I've seen my country pretty much ruined by what is essentially a socialist administration presented by this plausible, likable guy. And I see the same thing happening in America, and I think America should worry about that.
Delingpole says America is on the same course toward the kind of sprawling, expensive big government that Britain has, one that will suffocate our economy and our freedoms. Britain today is almost a police state. The British people are under more government surveillance than the Chinese. There are cameras everywhere. Dr. Eamon Butler is director of the Adam Smith Institute in London and the author of The Rotten State of Britain.
In the half mile between Westminster Cathedral, near where we're sitting, in Westminster Abbey, I counted 160 surveillance cameras.
A new government initiative would put cameras in the homes of families considered at risk. Not only that, a new law would mandate that every phone call, email, or website a person visits be stored for a year, just in case the government wants to take a look at it. There's also a law under consideration that would limit energy use in Britain through an annual carbon allowance. Use too much energy, and you could be fined. And Big Brother is also snooping through the trash. Some local governments here are experimenting with smart garbage can sensors that can tell if Brits are, in the opinion of some bureaucrat, throwing away too much.
There's this attempt really to control our lifestyles. All of these things are done with the best of intentions, but in fact you have built up the apparatus of a police state, and if some bad guys got into power, they would have huge power and control over us.
Britain also has government-run health care, like a lot of Democrats want for America. But Delingpole has a warning.
I'm not going to try and tell you that the American healthcare system is perfect. What I am going to tell you definitely is do not copy our healthcare system. We call the NHS, our National Health Service, the envy of the world. It's the envy of the third world, maybe. It is a form of healthcare through almost Stalinist state allocation, healthcare through rationing.
The horror stories about care rationing in Britain's National Health Service are many. This British cancer specialist told us how difficult it can be to get life-saving medicines if they're expensive. This woman told us she was denied a pap smear by the NHS, and then she developed terminal cervical cancer. Big government isn't just inefficient, it's expensive. And some have declared that the British government has run out of money.
Well, we are bankrupt. Britain is bankrupt.
The official public debt figure is 47%. I think the real figure is probably something like 147%, because there is so much of our public debt which doesn't actually appear on the government's books.
Britain has been here before. It was the sick man of Europe in the 1970s, overtaxed, overregulated, even needing a bailout from the International Monetary Fund before Margaret Thatcher's fiscal conservatism straightened out the economy. But under Tony Blair and Gordon Brown, the size of government ballooned again. And now the bill for Britain's most recent socialist experiment has come due. So is bigger government better government? Some British would tell you that unless you want the government snooping through your trash can someday, it's not something America should strive for. Dale Hurd, CBN News, London.